ready. This is going to be exciting.
Here we got car starts up to go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a road course. Believe it or not, obviously some of us rednecks not real big on the road courses, but one thing for sure, the Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series is damn good on road courses, and we're going to be at Long Beach here this evening. A couple more races left in the Lincoln Tech IndyCar Summer Series. We'll crown us a champion here next weekend, or next week I should say, but before we get through there, we got to go through Long Beach. You're going to see it all live here on B-Speed. Good evening, folks. I'm the redneck announcer, Jake Reeves. Got my buddy up here from, or honestly, a brother from another mother, if you want to call it that, Daniel D. Cunningham and Double L Lucas Lines on production. Daniel, buddy, how the hell have you been? Honestly, if we go back to what we said last week, talking about Long Beach and everything else, I still haven't bought the track. So I've never raced here. I've never turned a lap. But I will say this, Bubba Burgers sounds damn good, and I love them dolphins right there on that waterfall.
Well, you know, I'm here. I've got the track. I'm here live and in person in Long Beach. We know you got a little bit of the Truck Series NASCAR remote broadcast going on, joining us from the War Room out there in Georgia. But hey, you're here. You're going to be able to call this with me. So we're going to have a damn good race here this evening on this track, and these guys are in for a challenge this evening here at Long Beach. This is a really tight course, hard to get around, and they're going to have their hands full tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it. You know, obviously, I mean, I've watched, a couple of races that they've had here at Long Beach. Always pretty crazy how tight it is. You see it literally a street course, if you will, which is obviously what Long Beach is. But we'll go ahead and check out your points on what we're looking at. But what we've got at this point, got Regis Clark sitting right there in that point lead. Got a 19-point gap between him and Brandon Evans. Tyler Justice, obviously one of the big dogs here in the Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series. Eddie Smith sitting in fourth with Devin Smith right there behind him in fifth. Daniel, I'm not sure if they may be related. Hell, I don't know, honestly. But Jake Ellingson, sixth. Jamie Lipke, Kevin Price, Brock Price, Jake Kelm all the way down. That's what your top 10 looks like. I mean, honestly, where would you see the cut line as far as the points go to have a shot to try to win the whole damn thing, Daniel? Where would you cut that line at?
I'm looking at really probably the top 4 right now. There's still a drop week in there, so, and I believe that the last race can be your drop, but it's going to be a tall order to make up more than the 19 to 25 points that we see there in our top 4. So, you know, if you're Devin Smith, Jake Ellingson, Jamie Lipke, you probably still have a little bit of a shot if some guys run into some trouble or if maybe somebody misses a race, but I think you're looking at your champion coming out of that top 4 right now.
Yeah, I mean, that would be pretty big. And obviously all those in the top 4 have been lighting it up here with the Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series. Check out your race details here for this evening. It's going to be a pretty good one right there. We've got 50 laps, pit road speed 45 miles an hour, I should say. Obviously, you know how Goat Locker is. Patrick Dravitt and Jamie Barkus, they have got a killer tire bill. And so it's always unlimited sets of tires. But it's that one mandatory tire change Daniel, that we've seen in the past when we go to Road America and other road courses, that we've seen. And then obviously 100% fuel capacity going 25 to 28. But this is where, like, I was talking about it last week when we were at Pocono about that push to pass. Here, they can do the push to pass because it's not on oval.
Yeah, you're right. That's going to be something that they've got at their disposal. It's going to affect that fuel a little bit if they do start using it because it cranks up the power, but it does burn a little bit of extra fuel. But you can see right there, 25 to 28 laps, 50-lap race. They can make it on one stop, run each of those compounds one time. But I'm curious to see how these primary and alternate tires play out. If a two-stop might be faster, but yeah, that's definitely something to keep an eye out for as we go through the race this evening.
Yeah, that will be a pretty cool one. And for those of you that have no idea what Long Beach looks like, get you a track map, kind of give you an idea of kind of what Long Beach looks like. And dear God, obviously out in California, 1.97, just shy of 2 miles, 11 turns. Some of these turns of what I'm seeing right here, though, Daniel, are what you call, I would more or less say landmine turns, if you will. Jamie Libke out there in the live chat, we're gonna die. They they know something I don't know because but the big kicker you see right there, at least in my opinion, Daniel, you see the 2 to 3. That's kind of a turn, but 10 and 11. Dear God, I mean, just some of these corners through here that you see on this track, you sit here and you just go, oh my God, please don't screw up.
I'll tell you what, I tried to turn a few laps here earlier this week. I had the driving line on, and I was still running into walls left and right. So no driving line for these guys tonight. They have got their work cut out for them, and I believe we actually have our starting grid ready to roll off here this evening. We're going to see how they roll off and tackle the streets of Long Beach here.
We cannot wait to give it to you here tonight, here on V-Speed, starting up on the Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award. Real quick, since forming in 2013, Jam has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They have been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning. Local and veteran certified. When they do well, they do good in the community. So thank you very much to Jam Printing and Promotions for the sponsorship of the Pole Award. And who is on the pole? Lucas Lines, let's take a look at it and see who is going to be starting on the Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award winner. And it is Nathan Graham. Big deal right here for Nathan Graham. One of those drivers we haven't really seen anywhere. I mean, honestly, I think this might be the first race that Nathan Graham is starting here this season. So we'll see what happens with old Nathan Graham as he is your Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award winner. And rest of the field, obviously Nathan Graham on the pole. To his outside in the four is Mike Browning starting in the second spot. Row number 2, Patrick Travick. And there's Regis Clark. Big Dog Daddy in the house. Point leader coming into the night. He'll be rolling off from P number 4. Rolling off from row number 3, you're going to find Tyler Justice. Obviously in that little point battle we were talking about is we might have went a little bit too damn far. Here we go, baby. We're going green here at Long Beach. They threw the green flag before we even got to it, Daniel.
Yeah, these guys are ready to go. You can see already heading down into turn 1 into the Lucas Lyons Calamity Corner is what we're going to call that one tonight. I don't know what it's actually called. As you see, Tyler Justice having a little bit of an issue.
Oh.
There's guys all over the track in the fountain section. It's like the 08 of Brian Provo might have been involved in that. Starting out near the back. I believe Zachary Menace in the 364 as well. I have to queue up a replay and take a look at what happened on this one.
Yeah, we're going to have to see kind of what happened. All of it kind of happened back there at the back of the field. See everybody slipping, sliding, trying to get through there. Provo and others stacking it up. And then well, I'm going to call this hole my beer turn. And damn, somebody might have spilt their beer going into the corner. Missed the breaking point, drove it straight through there. Remember, Daniel, they do get one fast repair to their advantage. You see Zachary Menace right here riding on board with him, Provo. Poor old Provo didn't have a chance in hell. And then Menace just gets into the grass. Provo goes around, but no cautions here on these road courses, though, Daniel, is Nathan Graham pulling out to a pretty big lead at over a second and a half.
Yeah, no cautions. And we saw Zachary Menace doing a little the movie Cars impression, parked it into tulips there as they were in that fountain section. But ahead of all of that, Nathan Graham has pulled out to a pretty sizable lead already over the first lap as we take a look at Mike Browning, and I believe that's Patrick Drabick behind him, battling for P2 here. Close battle between them. Browning in those McLaren colors and Patrick Drabick directly behind. Glad to see that Pat made it to the green flag and was at least able to complete the first lap after the broadcaster curse that was put on him last week.
Well, yeah, I mean, and you know, they got started so quick, Daniel, that we really didn't get a chance to make picks on, you know, who we were thinking may have something to say about the win, you know, here tonight. And you know, I going into this, I was going to go with Tyler Justice. That was going to be my pick, one of those big dogs up there at the front trying to go for the point battle that we saw a while ago, top four, pretty much within striking distance. So I'm going with Tyler Justice. Lucas Lyons said something about Regis Clark because we got one spinner right here on one of the straightaways. We got a spinner, but, you know, I was going with Tyler Justice. As you see it right, whoa, baby, just hit that gas. That's that 11th turn I was talking about, Daniel. One of those, oh, dear God moments. Let's not screw up.
Yeah, that was out of the hairpin, heading back onto that long front straightaway that we've got here. You've got so much wheel cranked into it. It's so easy. You get back on the loud pedal a little too hard to loop it around. But, you know, going back to the picks, so Tyler Justice is your pick tonight. I'm going to go, oh, dear Lord, who do I want to put the voodoo on? I'm going to go, you ain't going to believe this. I was getting ready to pick Jeremy Gardner, the 42 car. And just as I was getting ready to say his name, the rear wing is hanging off of his car. You can't, I swear, it was right on the tip of my tongue. You can see right there, he's coming through the turn. Gets a little loose there. He looks like that's driver 27, Jake Ellingson, behind him. And Jake gets down in there, just gets in a little too hot. Jeremy goes around. So you know what? At the risk of, I think at the risk of hexing anybody tonight, I'm just going to say I hope everybody has fun. Can I say that? And then that way we'll probably have a lot of beef and soapbox to read afterwards. That's probably the way it'll work out.
Yeah, I mean, that soapbox is going to be good. And real quick, if anybody out there is looking for a damn good broadcaster after this season, Daniel Cunningham will be he will be good to light up for you. As much voodoo as you put on these guys, Daniel, it's going to be rough on you. But yeah, I mean, Jeremy Gardner, you see him at the 42, still trying to get something back going. Big, huge gap that you see now. Everybody's starting to spread out big. You got Graham up there with Browning, Drabick, Clark, Regis Clark, double L's, Lucas Lyons pick here tonight. You know, and then you got, you know, Pressey and then Justice Smith, Eddie Smith right there. But everybody is separated by a lot. I mean, everybody's separated by a good number. Graham, he's gone, and then everybody else is kind of just stagnated, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and you know, the one thing that I'm looking at right now, we touched on it a little bit in the pre-race with the two different tire compounds, is the 04 Pressey. Take a look. I believe that was driver 27, Jake Ellingson, may have just had an issue. Looked like he had towed back to the pit lane, saw it queued up on the replay there. Not quite sure what happened. Looked like he was actually coming out of pit lane and it just looped around on him. So maybe coming in to get some damage fixed after that contact with the 42 and yeah, just looped around on him. But let's take a look at a battle for position here between Jeremy Gardner, Brian Provo side by side. But you know, with Pressey in that 04, he is one of the guys that actually started on that hard compound tire on the primary, and he's turning lap times that are pretty competitive with the rest of the field. So something to keep an eye out for him as we go through the rest of the race here.
Yeah, that'll be something we'll really have to keep our eye out for. I just now looked out there on the live chat, you know, turned the track map upside down, and it's a turtle. You know, looking back on that track map, because we got our notes right here, I was looking at the track map myself, and if you somewhat kick your head upside down, it really does look, wow. Yeah, wow. Now I see it. It really does look like a turtle. That is, wow. I am absolutely blown away with that. You see your times out there. Regis Clark hitting the 110s. Pressey was hitting the 110s. You see all those guys. Everybody 110ing it to death, except for the man sitting in third, which is Patrick Dravick on 111 as of right now. This is a pretty good pace for these guys. You see them, here they go, starting to work their way around, getting in that hairpin of turn 11. Boy, it's tight, and boy, they get on the gas real hard right there. Got to be careful not to get on the gas too hard. If you do, you can easily spin that car out.
Yeah, you saw it right there. 42 of Jeremy Gardner. He was on the gas and almost looped it around. Brian Provo gets a little toe down the straightaway. He's going to send it on the inside. Jeremy doesn't fight him for that position. Up into the top 10 now for the 08.
Absolutely. I mean, everybody trying to work their way around this very, very hard course, to be honest with you. I'm telling you, I mean, wow. I mean, look, we got people without wings on, hitting inside, outside tire barriers. I'm telling you, and now we got a couple actually trying to work their way going down into the pits. Whew, baby, I tell you what, I've watched races at the Chicago Street Course. Daniel, I've seen races there where it's real tight and everything else, but that place ain't got nothing on Long Beach. This place right here, it's more tighter than the Chicago Street Course. I mean, it is very, very tough to get around this racetrack.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that sets this place apart from Chicago Street is that the Chicago Street Course is fairly easy to learn how to drive. It's a lot of right angle turns. So it's, once you kind of get the rhythm down, a lot of the turns drive pretty similar. Whereas with this place, you saw it on our upside down turtle track map that we had earlier. No two turns are the same here. And all of these street courses, I mean, you just picture whatever town you live in when you're driving through town. You've got the 25, 30 mile an hour speed limits. That's basically where these guys are driving, with all the bumps, the manhole covers, I hope to God they got all the potholes fixed before this race started. But imagine trying to drive anything through your hometown at 100, 150 miles an hour, and that's what these guys are trying to do here tonight.
Yeah, that's pretty tough. And not only that, I mean, you're talking about driving through your hometown and all that stuff. Think about it. You're not necessarily driving at those kind of speeds when you're driving through your hometown. These guys literally whipping it all the way up and down this street course here at Long Beach. Battle for position is on. Regis Clark kind of separating, trying to get away from all of this. Pressey, Justice, all these guys right here in position. Battle for position, battle for P4. Regis Clark, your point leader, coming into the night. Starting to get a little bit of pressure right now from Pressey. And Tyler Justice, one of those guys also in the running, trying to make something happen as far as that points gap.
Yeah, really tight battle between these three. And I think that was one of the most impressive things that I saw in practice. As you see the battle here, Regis going to hold on to that P4 spot for now. But I think that was one of the most impressive things in practice is our top 7 guys were only separated by about a half a second. And that's just not something that you really see a whole lot on these road and street courses. There's usually a pretty big gap between the fastest guys and those below. So really tight field here this evening.
Absolutely. Alan Smith out there in the live chat shouting it out. Risk it for the biscuit, which is a comment I made last night with the 87s, retro 87s for Cruising Classics. And that's a great shout out to producer, my good buddy, the Australian Dean Hopton Bagels, who has, he come up with that phrase, and I pretty much, made it stick, I guess you can say any way that I can. A lot of these guys are having to risk it for the biscuit. As tight as these quarters is you just watch everybody just shoot through I guess you could say that was hold my beer turn, and then you got one of them over there that's just a dear God turn. I guess you could say the hairpitter. There you go. Battle for position is on. Libke, Kristen, Provo trying to get back into this bad boy as well. So battles all over the place here at Long Beach, but Libke trying to hold on. Kristen trying to run him down.
Yeah, Kristen had that earlier pit stop, so should have a little bit fresher tires here too, as they start to work back down towards that back half of the track, where it does start to tighten up a little bit here. going to see them. I think we might have to call this hairpin that they're coming up on Cottonelle Corner or something with the way some of these guys have been going through there. But Jason Kristen and Jamie Libke both get through there clean as they head back down the front straightaway towards the start-finish line.
Absolutely, and I mean they're moving. This is the fastest part of the race course, at least in my opinion. When you look at the track map, I mean just absolutely moving down the front straightaway. Then you shoot through this corner right here. See if we can get an on-board ride with one of these drivers if we can, Lucas, and see kind of what they go through. There was the Dolphin turn, and then they worked their way into this right-hander. I mean just you're constantly thinking. Right here, Daniel, you're constantly thinking, what do I do? Where am I at? See the speeds moving all the way through here. I mean, just absolutely just hammering down on the speeds going down through these straightaways.
Yeah, that's probably why I'm not too good at road courses. We see Jamie Libke look like locked up and slid into the tires there as we were riding on board with Jason Kristen. Have to go back and take a look at that. Jamie just gets down in there a little too hot and locks that right front tire up, able to avoid any serious contact and damage though. But you're talking about you're constantly thinking. That's probably why I ain't too good at road and street courses. I'm not too good at thinking and trying to drive at the same time. So definitely a lot that these drivers are up against and what they're fighting this evening. And you're almost racing the track more than you're actually racing the other cars around you.
Absolutely. I mean, I've never been good at street courses. Lucas Lyons has kind of been a little decent, I guess you could say, at street courses. But from the last race I watched him at a street course, he didn't have too good of luck, to be honest with you. I'm already hearing him in the background already. Yeah, there was a little bit of beef on the last street course race I watched him at the Chicago street course in the trucks, and he had a little bit of beef. And anyway, Lucas, I'm sorry. I got to poke fun at you, buddy, because I got to, Daniel. I got to poke fun at him one way or another. Because look, he takes shots at us every single week. Lucas tries one way or another, take shots at us in our Facebook chat, but I try to light him up when we're live here on V-Speed.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most fun part of working with Lucas is making fun of him on occasion. So that's what we're here for. But while we're poking fun at each other, there was actually a pass for fourth with Pressey taking that from Regis Clark. So put him up into fourth on that primary tire, on the harder tire that lasts a little bit longer. So now that he's got some free racetrack in front of him, see if he can put some laps together and how that compares to our leader here on the softer tires.
And, do you think maybe, Daniel, speaking of that, is we're going to see it right here, instant replay. There is Jason Kristen. See what happens to Mr. Kristen as he dives down into turn one. Locks him up. Didn't hit nothing. Well, hey, Matt did. He might hit the tire barrier right there. He locked it up. Able to save it right there. But going back to Regis Clark, Daniel, this is, he comes into this as the point leader coming into the night. Kind of slim gap for him over Brandon Evans. And from what I'm seeing, I do not see the 39 out here at Brandon Evans, but obviously Tyler Justice, Eddie Smith, they are in the field. Do you feel like maybe Regis letting Pressey go right there? He's just trying to just mind that gap as far as the point lead, knowing that Justice and Eddie Smith are behind him. He's just trying to mind that point gap.
That's a good possibility, and Regis is going to be smart out there. He knows he's got that 19-point lead, 2 races to go. You've got the drop race in the bank if you need it, if something happens, but, you'd prefer not to use it or save it for the last week in case something happens. So, there's a good possibility that he just let him go. So we're going to take a look a little farther back here on our V-Speed Instant Replay, and that looked like a lot of netcode, to be honest. It just sent Jeremy Gardner nose deep into the tire barrier. And I believe that was actually our leader, the 05 of Nathan Graham, that was behind him. Take a look on board here. Yeah, that definitely looked like a lot of netcode there. It looked like the 05 was already half a car length past him, and that's when it actually turned to 42.
Well, I'll tell you this. I mean, throwing it back old school right here, Big Daddy Jeremy Gardner is not having the night that he wanted. here tonight at Long Beach, coming into tonight. And obviously had that little bit of contact with Jake Ellenson that got him knocked around in turn one. And now he ends up getting set around as well. So he's multiple laps down, just trying to make something out of this. Woo, baby! I mean that corner right there. If I was ever to go to Long Beach, Daniel, that would be the corner where I would want to have a seat at. Watching one of these races, because just how tough it is. Maybe the waterfall, maybe right over there in that area, just because of how beautiful it is and just how tight it is to watch the cars go through there. But that last turn, just watching them step on the gas and the back end coming out, where they're just damn near out of control. Those two turns, I'm telling you, those are the make or break it turns here at Long Beach.
See, I would have had you figured to sit on the Bubba Burger Bridge over there, maybe set up a grill or something, and then just watch the cars drive underneath of you. So, but you know what? That's a solid pick too. I like where you're going with that.
Yeah, I mean, but I didn't even think about the Bubba Burgers deal. I've actually had Bubba Burgers before. They're actually very good. And folks, we're not trying to promote them here on V-Speed, but if Bubba Burgers is out there in the live chat, by all means, light us up. We'll take that. But anyway, up front, Graham's gone. I mean, he is absolutely gone. Put a whooping on him so far. Led all the way from the start. Mike Browden back there sitting in second. Patrick Dravick still trying to hold down third. Then you got Pressy Clark, top five. Then Justice, Eddie Smith, Brian Provo, JB Libke, and Jason Kristen. That being the top 10 as of right now. The others got caught up in some accidents or accidents, or however you want to look at it. But for the most part, unless Nathan Graham gets into some kind of trouble, which, I mean, it's still a long way to go. I mean, we're, right here at the, getting close to halfway right here. We still got a long way to go, but anything's possible. But for the most part right now, Nathan Graham, he's got this sucker in the bag.
Yeah, and he's been setting the fastest laps consistently, even faster than the 0-4 Nicholas Pressy that we had talked about on that different tire compound. So, even with that advantage that the 0-4 should have, I mean, still not able to run faster. So, yeah, he's definitely putting a whooping on him right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's taking with the woodshed. You see it right there. I mean, just a second ago, it was about 10 seconds. Now it's up to 11 seconds. Eventually, it will go to 12 seconds, just how fast he's moving, going through the Dolphin turn. He honestly, he looks like he's done this before. I mean, he really does. He looks like he's done this before. Now that gap shrunk down to 10.5 seconds. But like I said, for the most part, I mean, Nathan Graham pretty much doing pretty damn good, if you will. I'm looking over at the interval, see if we can flip-flop and go back here to where Patrick Dravick and Pressy is, because that gap's kind of shrunk a little bit. Hell yeah, it shrunk.
Oh, and right as we go to him, there's contact.
Oh my gosh, we may have some beef here at Long Beach. Oh dear God, we may have to key up the soundboard. Lucas, I hope you got it turned on. But here we go. Pressy dives in. He's got Dravick in front of him. And Pressy was absolutely moving, sends it in there, gets into Patrick Dravick, sends him around. Key it up, son. We got beef. I think we may have a little bit of beef right there, Daniel.
Yeah, we're going to take a look on board here. It looked like both drivers were struggling with the bumps over there. See, as they go through, I believe that's turn 3 or 4, I lose track. You can see, actually, there was a little puff of smoke off the back of the 0-7 where they went over those bumps. And it looked like as the 0-4 went over them that he kind of lost the front end. So, yeah, just that right there just shows how difficult, how challenging this track is, that you've got two guys that have been running up in the top 5 the whole race. And it's that easy to make a mistake and end up in the wall with damage to your car.
Absolutely. And check this out right here, talking about maybe some beef depending on how it is right here. But point leader, Regis Clark, Tyler Justice right in behind him, 8 and 33. This is a battle for position. Clark trying to lead Justice around, much less just trying to finish ahead of the 33 and keep that point gap from shrinking in any way, shape, fashion, or form. as Justice basically just following Regis Clark around and not too far ahead of him. You see the 04 of Pressey right there in front of them as well. And Eddie Smith kind of laying back a good bit back, about 8 seconds back from this. But, I mean, this is a battle for the 4th spot, but could end up being a battle for 3rd if Regis Clark, Tyler Justice can sort this out. They may end up being able to run down Pressey and try to go for a podium spot.
Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised that Pressey didn't pit, because he definitely has damage to the front of that car. It looked like about half of his front wing was missing. The only thing I can think is that he's just trying to ride it out right now, get to where he's in that window that he can make it the rest of the way on fuel, because he's going to be losing a lot of time with that front wing damage the way it is. So, yeah, they should be able to catch him here in pretty short order. And with that loss of downforce, not going to be a whole lot that he's going to be able to do about it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's going to put him at a huge, huge disadvantage right here with everybody else trying to shoot their way up through here. But Clark and Justice, you see the times right there, about a half a second faster than Pressey right now. And Mike Browning up there still trying to do anything he can, but Graham's still the only one. Well, Provo's back there hitting 110s. But Provo's so far back, sitting in the 7th spot. He's the only one that's actually matching the times of what Nathan Graham is doing. But for the most part, we're going to stay with this battle, at least for a little bit, because this is literally, you see it on the interval over there. This is the closest battle that we've got going on right now between Clark and obviously Tyler Justice. And what, like I said a second ago, Daniel, could end up being a battle to try to get on the podium. Is Justice going to look down to the inside? Will he be able to get there? No. Clark still a little bit ahead, but he is putting pressure on Regis Clark. Tyler Justice really starting to pull a kind of old school intimidator here in the Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series.
Yeah, Tyler Justice was utilizing that push to pass down the front straightaway. Saw him lit up in green there on our scoring that we have behind the scenes here. Just take a look at how much they've used. Regis Clark has not even touched the push to pass button. He's still got all 200 seconds left. Tyler Justice at 133 right now. See Eddie Smith's dropping. He's on the button a little bit there, but yeah, he was using that to try to get a run along with the draft down that front straightaway. It almost worked out for him, but Regis, for now, still holding on to that position. And, you know, these laps do click off pretty quick here in these cars. They're just about back around as you see him through the hairpin yet again. Just about back around to the front straightaway. See if Tyler can get that run down the straightaway and make a move into turn 1.
Yeah, we'll see how this works. As there you see Regis Clark now starting to open up that gap just a little bit, trying to get away from Tyler Justice. Obviously, the push to pass. You talked about that a second ago. And Daniel, when these guys go down pit road to get their 4 fresh tires, fill it up full of fuel and everything else, that push to pass, it does not refill, correct? I mean, whatever push to pass they got, they're pretty much stuck with it the rest of the race, right?
You are correct. So every driver gets 200 seconds of push to pass to use throughout the race. It doesn't reset, refill, nothing like that. You can't take it with you when the race is over either. So burn it while you got it. But you got to be smart. Oh my gosh, we had Regis lock up as he got into the turn. I thought he was going into the tires. I'm going to go back and take a look at that here on the replay. Regis tried to keep Tyler Justice behind him. We keep talking about how treacherous this place is, how easy it is to make a mistake. Regis just gets in a little too hot, but man, able to get it stopped. He was just trying to say hi to us there, I think is what Lucas was just saying. But yeah, good job by Regis to prevent absolute disaster there and keep the car in one piece. Lives to fight another day.
Yeah, I mean, that is that's kind of big if you think about it. I was talking about that points gap, and Regis Clark is pretty much now. I mean, Tyler Justice, no matter where he finishes right here, if he can finish ahead of Regis Clark, it will close that point gap. We saw it a while ago with Brandon Evans and Tyler Justice. Both of them are tied. Both of those drivers are tied, 19 points back of Regis Clark. I mean, if he does finish just 1 point ahead of him, it doesn't really matter. That's still points to close that gap. We check back here, flip-flop back. See one of these other drivers, see kind of what happened to somebody else. Mike Browning sitting in the 2nd spot. Let's see kind of what happens to Mr. Browning and the 4 going through this corner. And damn, I mean, that corner, if you remember, that's where we saw Patrick Dravitt get spun around by Pressey. Now we're seeing Browning go through there. He gets in a bad spot. Clark and Justice went through that corner. Was pretty tough on them as well. So I'm not 100% what number corner that is, Daniel, but for the most part, that might be the hot ticket corner out of all of them.
Yeah, I believe that is turn 8 is where they're having those struggles. And, you know, it's such a hard part of the track to go through because you're heavy under braking. You're trying to turn at the same time. The bumps are pretty bad through there, too. So it's just so much at one time of what you're trying to deal with through there. It doesn't really surprise me as we get near the end of this tire and fuel run here that these guys are struggling with that. So something to keep an eye on here as we get through the rest of the fuel run, and then especially once some of these guys switch over onto the primary tire instead of the alternate, you know, can they navigate that with a little less grip in the tires?
Yeah, that will be interesting to see. And if you look over there on your interval, you saw Mike Browning kind of get himself in a bad spot. If you look right back there, just a little bit behind Mike Browning, you got Nicholas Pressey. He's starting to close that gap just little by little now. Browning slipped up a little bit, may open the door for Nicholas Pressey. And think about it, folks, if you're just joining us here live on V-Speed, Pressey got into the big dog. He got into Patrick Dravitt and set him around. So Browning probably knows about that. I mean, they're not out there in the comp. Well, they might be talking about it in the comms in the race chat, but as far as the Discord chat, they're not. I mean, Dravitt's in a different chat than Mike Browning is. So I'm sure Mike Browning knows about the contact that Nicholas Pressey had with Patrick Dravitt. And I think that's why you probably might see Mike Browning really step on the loud pedal and try to get away from Pressey as much as he can.
Yeah, and what's impressive is we talked about Pressey is missing half of that front wing. You can see it as he works around the track here on screen. He's at a huge aero disadvantage, but still able to turn some really competitive laps. So shout out to him. I did not think he would be able to set the pace that he is, but as you can see on the left there on our pit stop timer, our top 2 are currently in pit lane. Graham and Mike Browning, both in the pits. Graham actually already completing service and back on his way. And, you know, something that I'm going to be interested to see here is, as you see Pressey working through turn 1, this pit exit is tricky here. It looks like it should be straightforward. It looks like you should just be able to drive out onto the track, but the line, like the blend line, is pretty far down the straightaway into turn 1. And I know when I was trying to turn some laps here, I got unsafe pit exit about a dozen times because it's a little hard to see. So something to keep an eye on, make sure that all these guys can get out of pit road correctly according to how iRacing wants you to do it.
Yeah,
see you on board
absolutely.
here.
Yeah, I mean, check it out right here. I mean, Browning, yeah, that right there, you see it. Got to hit that blue line to be able to jump out of the pits, and now Browning can gas up and carry on and try to get away. Well, Nathan Graham, he has made his pit stop. Mike Browning has as well. Tyler Justice has yet to make it, and so has Nicholas Pressey. So right here about the halfway point, let's step away, give you a little bit of a full-screen commercial. Let's catch our breaths and get ready for the last half of this race. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here at Long Beach.
Superior quality, ultimate protection, and the highest level of craftsmanship. We make our gloves for the hard worker that wakes up every morning and gives 110%. You deserve the highest quality protective gear that's going to work for you day in, day out. We know it can be tough deciding what companies to trust for your hard-earned money. It's all in our name. We've mastered our craft to help you master yours. We make our gloves rugged, durable, and designed for you. Whatever the job is, we have you covered. We are your glove station.
Well, folks, we're back here live on V-Speed. You see Nathan Graham, he has jumped back out in the lead with Nicholas Pressey jumping down pit road, as well as Tyler Justice, all those guys jumping down pit road. So while we have a break in the action, you just saw a second ago with all those awesome-looking hot rods with Cruising Classics, which is a great sponsor here with Goat Locker. And Cruising Classics, located in Columbus, Ohio. Cruising Classics has a beautiful, absolutely beautiful 56,000 square foot showroom filled with hundreds of unique automobiles. There is something for everybody out of their hand-picked selection of muscle cars and hot rods. Come on down to visit the facility today and check out their website at cruisingclassicsinc.com. So thank you very much, Cruising Classics, for sponsoring with Goat Locker. Obviously, they're the title sponsor of the Cruising Classics Retro 87 series. And while we're at it, yeah, let's throw a little bit more sponsorship in there because, hey, this is the Lincoln Tech IndyCar series. Why not? And Lincoln Tech, their mission is to provide superior education and training to their students for in-demand careers in a supportive, accessible learning environment, transforming students' lives and adding value to their communities. They are one of the largest automotive technology schools in the nation with 23 campuses. And yes, sir, they are the title sponsor of the Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series with Goat Locker live here on V-Speed. So thank you very much, Lincoln Tech, Cruising Classics, all our great sponsors. We'll be talking a little bit more about those other sponsors later on in the broadcast. Redneck Announcer Jake Reeves here, Daniel D. Cunningham, Lucas Lyons, Double L, here with you on V-Speed. Daniel, I finally just bit the damn bullet. I went ahead and bought the track. I wanted to actually see everything that was going on. I like to have two screens going on at one time, so I bit the bullet and I went ahead, jumped down here with you. But so far, pretty cool little race right here. Look at Regis Clark right here. He's got Patrick Drabick right up his tailgate.
Yeah, well, it was nice of McLaren to let you borrow the Kyle Larson jet and fly out here with us. So, shout out to them for their hospitality with that. But yeah, really good battle going on right here between Regis and Patrick Drabick. Don't believe that Patrick is going to be able to make it to the end based on when he had to pit with that earlier damage, but still a good run for him going so far after he did have that incident and good recovery. Currently on those softer tires that, we've talked about, or no, I'm sorry, he's on the hard tire right now. I apologize. So he's on that primary tire to fulfill that rule of running both tire compounds.
Yeah, but if you think about it for a second, look on that, on that pylon where you see Drabick and then Clark, the man in front of him, in front of Regis Clark, is Nicholas Pressey. Think about that for a second. Remember, we went through turn A. I mean, you know me. I'm a pot stirrer. I always am. Patrick Drabick, if he does get back to Nicholas Pressey, I mean, Patrick's a nice guy. I mean, he really is, Daniel. But you rub him the wrong way, you turn him around in turn 8 here at Long Beach and just spin him around. Eventually, if Drabick gets back to Pressey, he's going to end up dumping him. And so there's something we may want to keep an eye on right now. Pressey running a little bit faster than Drabick is, with Drabick on that tire compound that he's on, but still has a shot. I mean, we still got 20 laps to go in this damn thing. So Drabick can still end up running down Pressey and making it a little interesting.
You're saying Pat's a nice guy. He probably does watch these back. It's a good thing that we should talk nice about him, right? But no, yeah, I mean, if I was him, I'd be a little frustrated too. I mean, I'm sure it was nothing intentional on the part of the other driver, but you don't really necessarily care about that when you're out there on the track. You don't care if it was intentional or not. All you know is you ended up backwards with your wing hanging off your car, and you aren't too happy about that.
You never are. I mean, you honestly never are. I mean, it doesn't matter when or how, if you end up getting spun around. And, Daniel, you know this as well as I do. I mean, both of us, we've raced on iRacing before and everything else. We still have that racer's mentality in our head that you never forget. you never, ever forget. You may get them back in this race. You may get them back 3 months down the road. You may get them back 5 years down the road, but sooner or later, you will get them back. So, and, you know, Patrick Dravick obviously has that mind of a racer just like all of us. So there's a good possibility as he may end up getting his shot. Pressey ends up getting loose coming into the corners. Dravick right here in front of him. He thinks different. He ain't got a T-bone him. He'll just drive right by him and laugh along the way.
Yeah, not sure what happened to the 0-4 there. You can see him sitting broadside in the middle of the track. Just gets down in here to turn one, carries just a little too much speed, noses it into the wall. You can see the wing comes off. Looks like he is still not rolling. Not sure if he actually may have towed back to the pits. But yeah, that is definitely going to end any hopes for a win or a podium out of that 0-4 car. Let's take a look. It doesn't take much. It just loops right around on him on that exit, going over the bumps just a little too hard on the throttle. Let's take a look. Patrick Dravick is not leaving the back of Regis Clark's car. He is tucked right up behind him. You can see he had a big lockup there as they went down into Hold My Beer turn. I think that's what we've been calling that one, or Cottonelle Corner, whatever you want to call it. And that was almost a Cottonelle moment there for the 0-7 of Patrick Dravick.
Yeah, I mean, Dravick's just trying to make, just have a little bit of fun out of this, try to get anything that he can, but still knowing that he's racing up against the point leader coming into the 9. And Clark wanting to try to get every point that he can. I mean, you think about it, Tyler Justice right now in a podium spot right in front of Clark. So Clark does not want to give up any more spots than what he has to. So he is playing straight up defense right now. Regis Clark is with Patrick Dravick, and Dravick kind of maybe looks like he's maybe a little bit faster than Regis Clark. I mean, last lap, Patrick Dravick ran a 1:11.9. Clark ran a 1:12.3. So yeah, Dravick is faster, but thinking about that point, gap and how the points is and everything, Clark's got every right to try to play defense right here.
Yeah, and it is a little bit difficult to set up some of these passes, as we've seen with just how tight these turns are. I thought Pat was going to get the back wing of that 8 car for a second, closed right in through the hairpin. But, yeah, I mean, it's just so hard to set those passes up, and that hairpin really isn't the greatest passing opportunity. You can kind of set something up to try to get a run down that long front straightaway into turn 1, but Pat's got his work cut out for him. We've seen, we saw it between Regis Clark and Jake Ham at Road America earlier this season. Just two guys that, were going after it for a win, and Regis never flinched. I mean, he never put a wheel out of place or nothing. So Pat's going to have his work cut out for him to get around that 8 car.
Yeah, I mean, if you think not too far back, maybe about 5 seconds back from that battle, is Eddie Smith. And remember, we talked about it in pre-race, Daniel, with the top 4 having a shot to try to go for the points. Well, Eddie Smith is one of those drivers that is in that top 4. 3 of the top 4 racing tonight. Brandon Evans not here. So Regis Clark, Tyler Justice, Eddie Smith, 3 of the top 4, they are here. Justice in front of Clark. Clark, gotta be careful! Oh my goodness, Dravick finally saw a hole, made it stick, and here comes Eddie Smith to the inside. Regis Clark, now he's gonna have to really play defense to try to hold off Eddie Smith, because he does not want to give up any more points. Because if you think about it, Daniel, he let Dravick by. If Eddie Smith gets by, that is costly points to get Tyler Justice back into this HUD when we go for the championship next week.
Yeah, that was a big move out of the 0-7 of Dravick, and I got to wonder if he might have the broadcast on in the background. He heard me say it's not really a good place to pass over in turn 11 or whatever that hairpin is, and he just said, "Hold my beer and watch this," and he was able to get it done on the 8 car. And Regis may not have appreciated that. I don't think there was anything necessarily wrong with the move that Pat made on him. But just with being run a little bit wide there and with having to back up and losing that time, I can't imagine that Regis is too happy about the way that played out.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you can't really blame Patrick Dravick. It's like I said a while ago. I mean, he was way faster than Regis Clark. He was running faster lap times than Regis Clark. And when he finally saw a hole, and you talked about it, how hard it is to pass here, eventually you got to go. I mean, you gotta make a hole. When you see a hole, you got to stick your nose in there and see what happens. Just how tight this place is, and there's a couple of passing zones. There's not a whole lot of passing zones, but when you see a hole, you got to go for it. Because I mean, this isn't going to be like Nashville Super Speedway, which is where we're going to be next week. You see a hole, you got to stick it in there. So Eddie Smith may be thinking the same exact thing right here with Regis Clark, as both of these guys, ironically enough, the top 6 is on the lead lap. Eddie Smith, the last car on the lead lap. Both of these guys fighting for the point, in the points and everything. And Nathan Graham, not too far back from them, could easily put both of them one lap down.
Yeah, the one thing that I did hear them mention during the drivers' meeting was about, if you're getting ready to get lapped, move out of the way if you can, with just see Eddie locking up the right front, but able to keep it out of the tires there. But, if you're battling for position, these guys are up there fighting for the last spot in the top 5. You can't really just move over and let the leader go, because you might let that other guy that you're racing go too.
Yeah, I mean that could be a big deal out of that right there. I mean, there's just so much, going on thinking about all that. I mean, you got Justice up here trying to get all the points he can. Eddie Smith trying
and Eddie locks up again down into turn 1. And that's a leader going by, a little tight there, but Nathan Graham able to get through. Take a look back on the replay of this. On board with that tied ride, the 87 of Eddie Smith just gets in a little too hot, but able to keep it out of the barriers, off the wall, and able to keep all 4 tires and side pods and all of that on it.
Side pods, tide pods, all that. And, we talked about how bumpy this track is. Obvious, how bumpy the street course is. It's not a track, it's an actual damn street. But with the track temp up at 120, Lucas, if we can get a kind of a, for the weather there, you see it. Air temp 76, track temp, or street temp, 120. How bumpy it is, these guys bouncing around and, losing the grip. Do you think that track tip is also playing a factor, even though the track is as bumpy as it is?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. As we ride along with Mike Browning here, see what he's fighting around this street course. It's the track, the street, whatever you want to call it, keeps getting hotter and hotter like that. It's just making all that grip you lose over the bumps that much more noticeable. It's easier to light the tires up. It's, if you start making your tires a little angry, it's harder to get them cooled back down. I can't say I have a whole lot of experience here, but talking about the Chicago street course, I've run some races there where that track temp is up at 130 or so, and it's just so much harder to drive compared to when you get out there and there's some overcast, clouds, stuff like that. So, yeah, these guys are definitely fighting the track. They're fighting the temperatures. Hell, they might be ready to fight each other after this race, too.
We love that. I'm going to quote Kevin Harvick. Fights, sport was made on fights. We love fights. This ain't NASCAR, this is Indy cars. And one thing about that, too, you talked about this as well. How we saw a couple of guys, Pressy and others, nosing it into the wall, wings coming off, all that stuff. This isn't like stock cars, folks. This isn't like what you would see with the NASCAR Cup Series and the Xfinity Series cars and all that stuff. These Indy cars are very, very fragile. These suckers, they take a bump, and it pretty much could end up killing your race just by a little scrape on the wall, Daniel.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We're so used to seeing the stock car stuff, as you see the leader there, Nathan Graham, still on the ragged edge, getting everything he can out of it. That's about as hard as you can hit the wall and not damage these things. Right, what you saw there, just a little puff of smoke off the side. If you do much more than that, you risk knocking a tire off of it. You risk, knocking parts and pieces off, and you're not really able to continue with that. You're going to have to come down pit road and get it fixed if you do end up in that position.
Yeah, and that would be unfortunate for Nathan Graham. He's been up front the whole time. The only time he wasn't in the only time he wasn't in the pits, or the lead, I should say, was when he was in the pits. And coming around with this time right here with 11 laps to go, he's got about a 42-second gap right over Mike Brown. And it's still out here hitting 110s, which in qualifying, I mean, he hit a 108. So 2 seconds slower than what he was ready to qualify. Do you think 110 is a little bit too much go-go juice in that 05? Maybe he needs to back it down just a little bit, considering he's got about a 42-second gap over Mike Brown.
You know, if we had Lucas Lyons behind the wheel of that thing, I'd be saying, look, dude, no heroics. Pull the reins back on that thing a little bit. But you know what? I can't say I really know Nathan Graham. And it's one of them things that, you know, if you start backing off and start trying to drive conservative, at least for me, it seems like the more I try to go conservative, the more likely I am to screw up. I start missing my braking points. I start missing apexes. I have enough problem with that as it is without making it harder on myself. So I'm going to trust the driver in this situation. If he thinks just doing what he's doing, what his muscle memory tells him to do is the way to go, you know what? Far be it for me when he's got a 40-second gap on the field for me to say he needs to back it down a little bit.
Absolutely. I mean, and he is running down Regis. Oh, no, he did it. He blew it going into turn one, Nathan Graham. But blowing the corner in that particular instance is not going to be treacherous for him. I mean, you get that big of a gap on the rest of the field, you can afford to screw up right there, but you don't want to screw up too many times. But he absolutely, I'm telling you, if he wouldn't hit the brakes harder, in that instance, he would have nosed it straight into them tire barriers, and then it would have straight up changed the complexion of this race right here with about 10 laps to go.
All right. Maybe he should back it down a little bit. You know, it's easy to say that after we just saw him lock up like that, but even with that, only cost him about 5 seconds out on the track, and still just really impressive what he's been able to put together here today. But, you know, once you slide those front tires once, it gets a little easier and a little easier to do it again. So you get them angry, and they don't like that. So be curious to see as we watch him go back down this front straightaway again, if he takes it a little easier into turn one. Maybe he backs up that braking point just a little bit, lifts just a little bit earlier. We're going to ride on board with him here. Still carrying some pretty good speed through turn one as he heads over into that fountain section. And I think the most impressive part for me with watching him get around this track is just, it's almost robotic watching him go around here and just how close he gets to some of these walls and some of these turns. And other than that little lockup that we saw just a few minutes ago, hasn't really put a tire out of place. So it's just really impressive how he's able to get around here.
Yeah. And all his tire temps, from what we're hearing, is at plus 200. So really smoking these tires around here. I mean, that last lap he had a 117, but the only reason he did is because he blew the first turn. But we'll see what he hits coming around this time as he comes around, coming to 8 laps to go for Nathan Graham in the 05. Pretty much taking them to the woodshed so far here tonight at Long Beach. Graham sends it going across the line. You got 8 laps to go, and he's right back into the 110s. Well, Lucas, while we got the opportunity, we'll talk a little bit more about some of our great sponsors here with Goat Locker. We're not going to a full screen commercial or nothing, but another great sponsor here with Goat Locker is Invents. And, you know, Invents, a very, very good sponsor. Invents aids in transitioning to civilian life, focusing on job placement and finding the right community for veterans and their families to ensure their success and happiness. They are a veteran nonprofit in Indiana with the goal of bringing veterans to the state, and to live and work. Yeah, got tongue-tied on that one, Daniel. They are the title sponsor of the Sunday Invets Truck Series with Goat Locker. So thank you very much to Invets. And I tell you what, while I got them right here in front of me, let's rattle off another one right here. Glove Station. Glove Station, a pretty good little sponsor with Goat Locker as well. And at Glove Station, they are committed to providing quality gloves and protective gear for a wide range of your daily activities and jobs, from tinkering on home DIYs to working in industrial environments and everything in between, they got you covered. With the endless amounts of safety products on the market, they want to make it effortless for you to find the right protection for your needs. You get tongue-tied when you do that crap, Daniel. I mean, you get all over the place getting all those words. You want to get them right. I mean, these are great sponsors with Goat Locker, Daniel.
They are. We definitely appreciate the support of all of our awesome sponsors that we've got over here. Whether we can read their sponsor reads correctly or not, they still support us, and we appreciate it either way. And they are the reason that we get to do a lot of the cool stuff that we do with the broadcast and the series we put on, and also with things like our sim rig giveaways that we do over here at Goat Locker to veterans. So none of that is possible without the support of those that you just mentioned.
Absolutely, buddy. And, I mean, one of the big ones, obviously, can't forget about them. Obviously, it's iRacing. I don't have an ad for them, but I will say this, is we still see drivers working their way around the track. Nathan Graham kind of growing that lead back over Mike Brown. And, with iRacing, you see it down there on the bottom right. But, I mean, iRacing, it's changed. I guess you could say, Daniel, it's changed people's lives. Believe it or not, with this sim racing and everything else, obviously when iRacing hit, it's been around for quite some time, but it really boomed right there when COVID started, and it's just shot through the roof, and it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger every single day. I think I read something on Facebook a couple of days ago about it turning, for iRacing Studios. So, iRacing's changed a lot of people's lives. It's changed my life. I'm sure it's changed yours, Lucas's. It's changed everybody's life. Just with, the opportunities that iRacing is given each and every person. So really want to say thank you very much to iRacing for everything that they have done. And one driver that we see working their way into turn number 8 and blowing the corner once again. Not real sure which driver that one is, but I'm sure that they are probably a little bit ticked off with iRacing, probably with just how too damn bumpy it is going into turn 8.
Yeah, I believe that was Jamie Lipke, the first one we were looking at. Trying to see who we've got here. It looks like Mike Browning in the 4 car. Not quite sure what happened to him there. Yeah, not sure if maybe it was some kind of tech issue on his side. He's in 4th gear going down the straightaway, where you would normally be in 5th or 6th gear, can't shift, can't really do anything, and just pulls it off to the side. So unfortunate break there for Mike Browning, as he was running in one of our podium positions. That's going to move Tyler Justice up to 2nd now, Regis Clark in 3rd, and yeah, just tough break there for the 4.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big, bad, tough break right there for Mike Browning, who was just minding his own business, running into the 2nd position, and looked like he was going to be in prime position to come on the podium here tonight, but does not look like it's going to play out for him. And now look at this right here. Nathan Graham has a shot to do something right here, coming around to try to make something happen. Nathan Graham right here with 4 laps to go has lapped damn near the entire field. The only one he hasn't lapped is Tyler Justice. And Justice is not going down without a fight. Tyler Justice still running 111s. Graham still running the 110s. But for the most part, everybody in the field is 1 lap down besides Tyler Justice, which is something that it needs to be said, honestly, Daniel, because that is straight up domination.
Yeah, it almost makes me think of I know somebody that is one of your personal favorite drivers, Jake, Shane Van Gisbergen at the Sonoma Cup race. Chase Briscoe said there was 1 rocket ship and 36 race cars out there. I was proud to have the fastest race car. Kind of what it makes me think of here tonight. You got 1 rocket ship out there in the 05. Tyler Justice, the fastest of the race cars right now.
Oh, good old SVG. You really went there. SVG. Oh, I know. Lucas Lyons is saying in our ear, that he loves SVG. I know a lot of people love SVG. Me, I can't stand him, and that's just me. I mean, he's good at road courses, and that's about as far as it goes. with him. And if you think about it, granted, yeah, Daniel, you can go ahead and light me up if you want to. But with SVG, when he went out there right there at the start of the race at Dover and he blew a tire, I said, yep, he's just a road course ringer. That's all he is. I more or less said that.
Hey, that's all right. We got to give each other a hard time. We can't just pick on Lucas all the time. So I figured I'd throw a little shot at you while the opportunity presented itself.
Well, but here's the thing. I mean, I've talked about this on broadcasts before. Is Nathan Graham starting to work his way to hit back to the line? He's coming back to 2 laps to go. There you see him as he hits the line. But real quick, for those of you that don't know why I don't like SVG, it was a couple of years ago, or it might have been this year. Hell, it might have been last year. I don't know when it was. All I know is I raced against him. I raced against him all night racing with some of his sports car buddies, and we were at Daytona, an official race or official Xfinity race. There's hosted races, there's league races, and there's official races where it goes against your safety rating and your I rating and all that good stuff. And we raced in an official race. It was about 50, 60 laps. It was at Daytona in the Xfinity cars. They decided, oh, damn, here we go. Nathan Graham blowing the corner again, but he's got a big enough lead. He should be good to go. But back to my story here, Daniel. He proceeded to hit every damn thing but the pace car. He literally pulled a cold trickle that night at Daytona, and I got caught up in a couple of his wrecks. How I finished top 10, I'll never know. But I got demoted in my license rankings because of SVG. So thank you very much, Shane Van Gisbergen, for getting me demoted, but I got it back. But still, I mean, you're a NASCAR Cup Series winner, and you're out there running people over in iRacing, its official race. And check this out. Nathan Graham going down pit road. I mean, whoa, I didn't see this coming right here, Daniel. This throws me for a loop. Coming to the white flag. Nathan Graham coming down pit road. What is this?
Yeah, and Eddie Smith also hitting pit road in the 87. I'm not sure what happened there. See, Eddie was in the tire barriers. I don't know what happened between these guys. I don't know if it was 2 separate incidents. You see, Eddie really got into it, was trying to limp it back around to the pits. Nathan Graham, yeah, he's already gone to pit road and come back out and still has about a 16-second lead. So, yeah, not quite sure what the pit was for on the last lap. If maybe he just got into something or maybe he locked the tires up one too many times or what it might have been. But last lap on the board for that 0-5, and he can bring it home in one piece. He's going to be the next new winner that we've got here in this Lincoln Tech IndyCar series.
Yeah, pretty much just set it right down pit road, pulled a quickie and set it right back out there. Graham working his way around Long Beach, working his way down the back chute, getting ready to go into turn 9, then hit turn 10, hit the little round in the hairpin, and take it all the way home. Nathan Graham, 05, big lead coming through turn 10, hits turn 11, could even do a little burnout, spin it out, and hit the damn wall, and he'll still end up winning this thing. Nathan Graham in the 0-5 gets it done at Long Beach. He wins. Big time move right here for Graham. Basically took him to the woodshed. 05 gets it done. Nathan Graham, Tyler Justice, just now coming off of the hairpin corner. He will come home with second. It looks like Regis Clark, if he finishes how he is, he will come home third and be your podium finishers here tonight. Patrick Dravick, the last one to finish on the lead lap back and forth. But Nathan Graham burning it down right over to turn number 1.
Yeah, just absolute clinic that Nathan Graham put on tonight. See, he led just about every lap. I think the only one he didn't was during the pit cycle when he came in, and a couple other guys stayed out a little bit longer. So really impressive drive. Congrats to him, and a well-earned victory here at Long Beach.
Nathan Graham gets it done and still going to burn it down right here over at turn number 1. Yep, go ahead and hit the wall. Knock the front end wing off of it. Why not? You've already done it all. Honestly, I think he could have done without the front wing, and he still probably would have won it. Just how dominant the performance was right there for Nathan Graham. I mean, just absolute clinic, I guess you could say. I mean, it's like I said, an absolute clinic for the 05 of Nathan Graham. Gets it done. Do want to mention about that point battle we were talking about. Eddie Smith finishes 6th. He's one of those in that top 4. Tyler Justice Regis Clark, who we'll talk to here in just a little bit, but Justice was able to beat Clark, so he is going to shrink that points gap by just a little bit. So Nathan Graham getting a win. Justice, Clark, and Drabick, the top 4, only ones to finish on the lead lap. Well, folks, we're going to step aside, take a quick commercial break. We'll bring you back for the race results, have a talk with the podium finishers, and preview the championship race next week at Nashville. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here with the Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series.
Superior quality, ultimate protection, and the highest level of craftsmanship. We make our gloves for the hard worker that wakes up every morning and gives 110%. You deserve the highest quality protective gear that's going to work for you, day in, day out. We know it can be tough deciding what companies to trust for your hard-earned money. It's all in our name. We've mastered our craft to help you master yours. We make our gloves rugged, durable, and designed for you. Whatever the job is, we have you covered. We are your glove station.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. InVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. InVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about InVets, visit us at invets.org today.
Okay, I feel a lot better now. I had to vent there for a second, folks. I mean, you may hear about it. You may hear about it this week on the Doorbag and Download on Spotify, that podcast. Who knows? But welcome back to Long Beach. Well, we just saw Nathan Graham absolutely wax the field, put a whooping on him, took him to the woodshed. Get your race results up for you real quick. Let you know where your favorite driver finished. Nathan Graham. Only reason he finished 17 seconds ahead of Tyler Justice was because he had to go down pit road to get some extra fuel. I believe that's what it was. It was a quickie right in the pits, set it right back out there, no problem. Tyler Justice ends up finishing second ahead of the point leader, Regis Clark, something we may be talking about, folks, when we go to Nashville. next week. Tyler Justice gets second. Regis Clark finishes third. Patrick Drabick still coming home with fourth. Soldier and on. Looks like he, according to this, was the last driver to finish on the lead lap. Brian Provo, Eddie Smith, Mike Brown, and J.B. Libke, Nicholas Pressey, Big Daddy Jeremy Gardner, the top 10 here tonight at Long Beach with Kristen, Smith, Ellingson, Menace, and Pendleton. Decided to not even run. He just wanted to stick around and watch what was going on. Well, folks, that's your race results here tonight. We'll bring up our race winner and judge him by this man's Discord picture, a bulldog. He straight up was a bulldog here tonight. Just absolutely smoked him all the way around. Nathan Graham, congratulations, buddy. Tell us about your race.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Yeah, go Dogs first. Can't wait till football season's back. Back to racing. Yeah, today I had a good, it was only one lap on the quali, so that made it a little more difficult. You had to just push, but not push too hard. Got a good lap in, and then I think it just worked out with, I was trying to just make the tires not overheat. It's a tough track with all the bumps and everything, and you basically can't turn your brain off. So it is fun to lap, but yeah, overall it worked out.
Well, real quick, since you said go Dogs, I'm an Oregon Ducks fan, so thank you for Dan Lanning, first off. Just want to toss that out there real quick. Glad that he's our coach now. But
yeah, great dude.
Yeah, he's definitely my favorite that we've had up there. But we saw you come down pit road coming to the one to go. Were you short on fuel, or were you just trying to give us something to talk about to make things interesting there on the last lap?
Yeah, I ended up hitting one short of where I should have probably. I had the gas.
Welcome back to another segment of
one less than 1 gallon in.
Well, y'all talking about the Go Dogs in Oregon. I have to just go ahead real quick. Say it, Roll Tide.
Boy.
Sorry, Nathan. Hey, to be honest with you, I'm not happy we got Kalen DeBoer. Honestly, I wish we would have got Dan Lanning instead of Kalen DeBoer. I would have took Dan Lanning. Hell, I would have took Dabo Sweeney. We wouldn't get Kirby Smart. That's college football. We'll bypass all of that. But Nathan, buddy, congratulations on the win. I'm just curious, real quick, before you transition to your sponsors and shout-outs, how much practice did you run here at Long Beach?
Well, I've raced here a good bit. I'm a road racer by trade, I'd say, on here. So I do a lot of Long Beach in general. So I know the track quite well. I didn't get too many laps in this week, but I've raced Indy here before, so it was kind of just like riding a bike. I've always had good familiarity with this track.
Nathan Graham, buddy, you absolutely put a whooping on them. Led 49 of the 50 laps here tonight, and I would say you hit the fastest lap of the race. But, buddy, congratulations on the win. Appreciate your time. And before we let you go, you got any sponsors and any shout-outs?
Yes, like to thank Lincoln Tech, Save 22. Let's see here. The Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs. And Part-Time Pros is our little team, so thanks to them. Brian Provo didn't have quite the race he should have probably with his pace, but he ended up coming in fifth, so good job. Thanks, guys.
Nathan Graham, Bulldog, gets it done here tonight at Long Beach, buddy. Appreciate your time, and hopefully we'll see you down the road.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. See you.
That was Nathan Graham. Like I said, pretty much took him to the woodshed, folks. Ain't much else you can say about that. But go to second place finisher, and that was the 33 of Tyler Justice. Tyler, buddy, come home with a second place finish. He was able to get by Regis Clark and try to shrink that points gap. Are we thinking, first of all, congratulations on the second place finish, but are we thinking maybe that point gap is shrunk enough to where you may have a shot at him at Nashville next week?
We're going to give it a shot. It's going to be close depending on how many cars show up, but I expect Regis to be fast as always. That's why I was a little surprised because I was talking to him in the waiting room that I was like, I was expecting you to be up there with Nathan, and he said he was too, and he wasn't sure what happened with it. So that was a little bit surprised coming in P2. So, but hoping to give it a shot next week. Hope I got it down just enough. Hate Brandon wasn't here tonight. Would have been fun to have a three-way battle going into Nashville.
Well, a solid run tonight, and we saw how challenging this track was. what was the biggest challenge that you had out there? Was it just fighting like the bumps or the track temp, the tire wear? Like, what's the most challenging part about trying to get around this place?
For me, it was the track temp, and just it felt like every time I could go through the same corner at the same marker, I was always nervous of a lockup just because it was the bumps, the track temp, a little bit of everything, just trying to not make a mistake, which I'm glad. I think I finished with no incident points, that was my goal. I would have been happy with a top 5. Come away with a second is more than I was expecting. There's a lot of fast guys here, and I hate that most of them, it seemed like, got in trouble or had some issue with fuel or something. So I hate that for it. But I mean, I'll run out there like a bandit with a P2.
Running out of there like a bandit with a P2. He'll take it all day long. Tyler Justice got one more race. May end up having something to say about this whole championship for the Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series with Regis Clark next week. We'll see what happens, Tyler. Congratulations on the podium finish on second place. Appreciate your time. And before we let you go, you got any sponsors and any shout outs?
Yeah, I want to shout out first and foremost Goat Locker Racing, Pat, Jamie, Jake, all the admins do an awesome job. Absolutely love racing here every week, racing almost everything. Absolutely love it. Once again, going to throw my lobbying for this to come back in the fall. Absolutely love these cars and hope we can do a full season with it. I want to thank Lincoln Tech for being the title sponsor and everything they do for Goat Locker. Jam Printing and Promotions for their sponsoring the pole award. Congrats to Nathan on the win and the pole for that one. V-Speed for broadcasting, as well as you, Jake, Dan, and Lucas. Do a great job as always. Can't wait to go back and watch it. Alexander PCs and what they do with donating the PCs for the SimRig recipients. That's awesome. Glad to see Devin, who's one of the recipients out here, and one of my teammates. Glad to see him in the IndyCar series. I'd like to shout out Majors Esports and Majors Garage. Shout out Rogue Energy. Use code RER for 10% off. Save22.vet and everything they do for veterans, for being our team sponsor for Goat Locker. And so once again, thank you guys for the broadcast. It's awesome.
Barbecue.
Oh yeah, yeah. My bad. I forgot. Dang, Logan's Big Fish Barbecue. I have it on the car and I forgot. I'm sorry. He's gonna probably have to hear it from him.
Ooh, well, good luck with that. Good luck with that, buddy. Hopefully he doesn't end up barbecuing you for that one right there. But Tyler Justice, buddy, congratulations on P2. Congratulations on that. Appreciate your time. We'll see you at Nashville next week, bud.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.
That was Tyler Justice comes home with second here this evening. Try to close that points gap on Regis Clark. We'll go to the man that finished third, your point leader coming into the night. Point gap might have shrunk just a little bit, but maybe not too much. Regis Clark coming home with third here tonight. Regis, congratulations on third place finish, buddy. Tell us about your race.
I don't know. It was like real weird. The whole thing was weird. It was real tough, real slick, hot. I wasn't comfortable at any point. So yeah, that was it.
Well, Regis came into the race the points leader. It looks like you're still going to have a pretty decent lead heading into the last race. Throughout the night tonight, was your mindset really just focused on the guys that you were racing around with the championship, or were you just trying to mainly just stay out there, run your own race, and do your own thing?
Yeah, I was just trying to like run my own race. Obviously I know like Tyler is in second. But there's a lot of people locking up, a lot of people kind of all over the place, and I was just kind of taking it really like started taking it easy. I locked up going into 8 one lap, and then after that I started backing up every corner. Just just trying to stay out of the wall or trouble.
Well, how about that? Regis Clark coming into tonight. Regis, real quick, Nashville next week. One more race. I mean, odds are you probably still had the points lead, but like I talked, it's like I said a while ago, that point gap probably has shrunk a little bit. Are we feeling okay going to Nashville next week, or are we thinking like it's going to be a dogfight for this championship?
No, I think I feel fine. It'll just just gotta stay out of trouble. It's an oval, so a lot of cars in a very small area. Um, I'll probably just ride around for a little bit and then decide when to go. I haven't really came out with a strategy yet.
Absolutely, I wouldn't say it live on the air neither. I wouldn't even if I had one, I wouldn't say it live. Don't want my competition to get an idea on it. Well, Regis Clark, buddy, congratulations on the third place finish. Appreciate your time. And before we let you go, you got any sponsors, any shout outs?
Yeah, for the series, iRacing, Above the Yellow Line podcast, Sim Motion, obviously Lincoln Tech for letting us put on this series. Black Sheep Racing with Burnouts for Bennett, great charity, and Mike Browning. I know he had some problems there at the end, but thanks for him as well.
Regis Clark comes home with P3 here tonight. Regis, congratulations on that. Appreciate your time, and we'll see you in Nashville next week, bud.
All right, see you guys.
That was Regis Clark comes home third here tonight. One small detail that I see in our broadcast chat on here: Tyler Justice, Regis Clark, Jamie Lipke, and Jason Kristen were the only ones that ran at least a lap and ended with 0 incident points. Dear God, they beat me. They would have beat me by a mile. I mean, I'm nowhere even close. I would have had one probably before we even got into the damn turmoil. Logan, or Daniel, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the broadcast chat, Logan Thurkill, but Daniel, buddy, I would have had an incident point when we were going around under pace. That's how crazy it is. But your take of a wild one here tonight at Long Beach.
I'm right there with you. I would have probably had incident points before we even got to the fountain the first time, or I might have ended up parked on top of that dolphin that you see there. Yeah, I mean, just all night we saw it, even from our leader that had the field absolutely smoked, had the race in hand, just how easy it was to make a mistake. So shout out to those that finished the race without any incident points. And just real quick, we had touched on Mike Browning. He had a wheel disconnect. He confirmed in the iRacing chat. I saw that earlier. And also Jason Kristen pulled off early, said he had tweaked his back earlier in the day, just couldn't finish the race. So shout out to him too. Hope he gets feeling better and we can see him run the full race next week at Nashville.
Yeah, absolutely. That will be a good one when we go to Nashville next week. And speaking of Nashville, love that place. Really, I love the state of Tennessee. Believe it or not, Alabama fan and everything else, but Tennessee, Pigeon Forge, you got the country music, the Grand Ole Opry, all that good stuff going on in Tennessee up there in Nashville. I mean, baby, I love the city of Nashville. I've been to the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. What's one key that we could look forward to when we go for this championship race come next week, Daniel?
I'm really curious to see how the track drives. I know with like the stock car stuff, a lot of it is kind of a track position fight that you're going up against. It's a little bit hard to pass there sometimes, but there's been places that we've run as far as this Lincoln Tech IndyCar series goes that on the NASCAR side might be a little hard to pass, but not with the Indy cars. So I'm really interested to see how that goes, and also see how this championship battle is going to play out next week.
It will be a blast when we go there. It will be a straight up title fight. Doesn't matter how anybody thinks of it. It will be a title fight one way or another. You do not want to miss it. Come next Wednesday night here on V-Speed. Nashville Super Speedway will be a good one. Well, folks, Long Beach was a good one. Granted, Graham took them to the woodshed. There ain't nothing else you can say about that. But we saw beef. We saw chaos. It's usually how it works here with Goat Locker in the Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series. What will happen next week when we go to Nashville Super Speedway? I cannot wait to see how this sucker will play out. Well, folks, that's going to do it for this broadcast here on V-Speed. Obviously, I want to thank all our great sponsors. Obviously, Save 22, Jam Printing Promotions for the Jam Printing Promotions Pole Award. Obviously, Cruising Classics, Hidden Wit Brewery, Invents, Nasty's Restaurant Bar, Club Station, Above the Yellow Line for their sponsorship for the podcast. Obviously, cannot forget about iRacing, and one that we really can't forget about, Alexander PCs for what they do for Goat Locker, and Lincoln Tech, the title sponsor of the Lincoln Tech Indy Car Series with Goat Locker. Shout out to the drivers for always putting on a fantastic show, and the fans for always coming out in big numbers, supporting your favorite drivers, supporting this great league, and supporting this great channel. If you haven't yet, make sure you like and subscribe to V-Speed. Keep up with everything going on with Goat Locker, and obviously Jamie Barkis, Patrick Dravick. I know I flipped them around, Patrick. I'm sorry about it, but both of y'all work y'all's asses off, and I'm very, very proud to be a part of this great league and calling some of the great racing that's going on here in Goat Locker. So thank you very much to them. For OLL, Lucas Lyons, and also for Daniel D. Cunningham. I'm the redneck announcer, Jake Reeves. Said as I always say, be safe, be kind, be fast. Oh, baby, we might want to get the fiddles out, get the steel guitars out. We're going to rock and roll next week. Nashville Super Speedway. The points is tight. The racing's going to be tight with the Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series season finale, championship race, championship title fight. Who's going to win it all? Next Wednesday night, live here on V-Speed. You do not want to miss the last race of the summer series with the Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series. We'll see you there.